Seoul was still cloaked in darkness when Jung Yoo-jung awoke well before dawn. As she lay in bed, heart racing with anticipation, visions of blood danced through her mind. Today was the day she would finally satisfy her morbid curiosity and discover what it felt like to take a life. Jung had always been fascinated by the macabre. It had been nearly 5 years since she graduated high school and had yet to hold a steady job or enroll in college. Instead, whiling away the hours absorbed in stories of violence and death. Her self-imposed isolation and near total immersion in true crime tales over the past half-decade had only served to deepen her morbid obsession. For months, she had meticulously planned today's grim agenda to satisfy her chilling obsession by taking an innocent life. In search of a victim, Yoo-jung joined a tutoring app, posing as a worried parent, seeking a tutor for her fictional daughter. She then peppered over 50 unsuspecting teachers with messages probing for personal details. Under the guise of interviewing potential instructors, Yoo-jung sought single women who offered in-home lessons, believing correctly they would make more vulnerable targets. The idea electrified Yoo-jung with a newfound purpose. She trawled the seedy corners of the web, collecting intel on flawless killings with no loose ends. Keeping her crime untraceable would prove the ultimate cerebral challenge against investigators she idolized like celebrity heroes. Triumph meant her morbid obsession could finally be nurtured out in the open instead of the prison of her mind. When Yoo-jung connected online with a sweet young woman, she knew immediately she had found her prey. After finalizing a tutoring appointment, Yoo-jung gathered the tools of destruction concealed around her bedroom. She also bought a devious disguise, the uniform of a Catholic schoolgirl, complete with knee-highs. Her slight figure could pass for a middle school teen, getting her unsuspecting victim to lower her guard. Then, disguising herself to appear a harmless adolescent girl, she headed out to fulfill her deadly obsession. She tucked her chef's knife, specifically chosen for its long blade, into her backpack beside her school books. CCTV cameras captured Yoo-jung lurking around her victim's neighborhood in the schoolgirl uniform, anticipating the building as she awaited her lesson time. What happened next unfolded as if in a dream. When the tutor warmly welcomed Yoo-jung inside, she only had a split second to register her mistake before the first cruel stab of the knife pierced her heart. Did her primal survival instinct make her fight against fate's dark betrayal, or did resigned despair blanket her final moments? Yoo-jung ensured her victim's misery ended swiftly. Yoo-jung reveled in over 100 frenzied stabs with a sharp knife, continuing even after her victim lay motionless in a spreading pool of crimson. Under the innocent facade of a schoolgirl hid a monster who ended an innocent tutor's vibrant life solely to satiate her morbid fascination with murder. The next hours also passed as if in a vivid dream. After calmly cleaning the blood from her hands and clothes, Yoo-jung left the victim's home to retrieve supplies. CCTV cameras captured her entering and exiting her apartment building to gather bleach, bone saws, plastic tubs, trash bags, and a large suitcase. She then returned to the scene of her crime, her demeanor eerily composed. Yoo-jung scrubbed the creaking floorboards clean and changed her own blood-flecked uniform into the victim's clothing. She gathered her victim's wallet, watch, and cell phone, placing them carefully into her backpack in an attempt to commit the perfect crime. It was clear that she was so preoccupied with the killing itself that she gave no thought to the consequences. She failed to look ahead and determine what to do next, such as changing clothes and buying bleach and trash bags. She also took no effort to avoid CCTV cameras that caught her leaving the victim's house several times. Yoo-jung then called for a taxi to dispose of the gruesome remains in a remote parkland near the river of North Busan. Yoo-jung directed the driver towards Nakdong River, a secluded site perfect for concealing dismembered body parts in the nearby wilderness. After dropping off his creepy passenger, clutching her mysterious suitcase, and witnessing her dumping the blood-soaked suitcase in the woods, his nerves compelled him to phone the police, thus ending Zhang Yuzheng's transient taste of a long fantasized perfect crime. Tracking Yuzheng's identity proved elementary, given all her painstaking preparation. Within hours, officers apprehended the young killer, still wandering by the river. As investigators dug deeper into Zhang Yuzheng's chilling confession, they struggled to identify her victim amidst the dismembered carnage found stuffed inside the suitcase. Who was this unfortunate woman whose life was so cruelly stolen by Zhang's deadly obsession? Police quickly assembled a special investigations unit to coordinate DNA testing and circulate the victim's recovered belongings, including a smartphone, wallet, and ID cards. They did obtain a name, but haven't revealed it to the public. Canvassing the neighborhood where Zhang had staged her brutal murder eventually led detectives to the victim's modest apartment. As appalled South Koreans mourned the tragic murder, public outrage mounted against Zhang Yuzheng's heinous crime. But prosecutors believed one key question remained unanswered. What drove this young woman to mutilate and murder a total stranger in such a sadistic manner? Digging deeply into Zhang's background, investigators soon uncovered a pattern of disturbing red flags that should have sounded alarms much earlier. One factor that may have contributed to overlooking these warning signs was Zhang's living arrangement with her elderly grandfather. Notably, the elderly grandfather even extended an apology to the victim's family. Growing up, Zhang was always something of a loner, preferring fantasy crime dramas over real human relationships. She filled notebook upon notebook, not with classwork, but with some gruesome murder scenes and fantasies of violence. She wrote things like, "I can't calm my anger without killing." Her internet search history revealed only sites related to serial killers, forensics, dismemberment techniques, and true crime message boards filled with fellow murder fanatics. Clearly, Zhang suffered from some undiagnosed mental imbalance, perhaps even full psychopathy. But in a competitive academic system focused solely on test scores and achievements, few bothered to intervene or suggest counseling for the troubled young woman teetering towards disaster. With public fury intensifying daily over this senseless murder, prosecutors hurriedly ordered psychiatric testing and built an ironclad case for Zhang's prosecution. In the immediate aftermath, while dismembering the victim's mutilated corpse, Zhang maintained she remained in a dissociative fog, unable to grasp the gravity of her crime. But as investigators confronted her with the painstaking steps she took to cover up the killing, Zhang's distorted explanations slowly unraveled. She initially began by telling the police that the only reason she killed her victim was because they got into an argument. But her statements soon showed loopholes that even the family couldn't believe. Holed up under the harsh glare of the interrogation room's lights, the cracks in Zhang's psyche emerged at last. She admitted feeling consumed by darkness that overflowed the recesses of her mind until it drowned out all light and reason. Yuzheng callously admitted she selected her victim randomly, simply to test the long-held desires over experiencing murder firsthand.
살인 충동을 혹시 언제부터 느끼신 걸까요?
피해자는 유가족께 할 말 없습니까?
피해자와 유가족분들에게 전 진심으로 죄송합니다.
살해 후에 여러 차례 집을 오가셨는데 혹시 이유가 있었을까요?
제 정신이 아니었던 것 같습니다. 죄송합니다.
The investigator eyed this withdrawn young woman who failed to make eye contact or express any identifiable emotion. But to their surprise, Zhang also choked through tears. "I feel so sorry for what I did," she said. However, this unexpected display of remorse failed to sway public outrage over Yuzheng's senseless butchery of an innocent stranger. As authorities finalized the victim's identification, prosecutors demanded South Korea's harshest punishment against this young killer. Prosecutors demanded the death penalty in a case that traumatized the public with its sheer impersonal brutality. She shrugged without remorse when informed of her victim's name and family left behind. The court rejected Yu Zheng's bid for leniency based on alleged hallucinations, recognizing her elaborate planning, plus the fact that she changed her story multiple times. Ultimately, the judge declared the random, senseless murder provoked a general distrust among society, now fearful anyone could become a victim at any time without warning. Judge Park announced in Busan District Court the sentence of life behind bars without the chance of parole. As the young killer was led away in shackles, the victim's grieving family finally exhaled slight relief that she would remain imprisoned for the rest of her days. But a beloved daughter and friend was still cruelly stolen from them forever by a deadly obsession spawned solely out of morbid curiosity.